You know that feeling when you snag a cheap gaming laptop off a clearance rack, only to spend the next few weeks watching the fans scream every time you try to load a new level? I've been there, and the regret is almost immediate. Your money disappears, the performance stalls, and you wonder whether you should have just bought a decent desktop instead. That's why today I'm taking a hard look at the HP Flagship 17-inch touchscreen laptop to see if it actually feels like a smarter buy or just another pricey gamble. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest hesitation people have with a 17-inch machine is portability. A laptop that big starts to feel more like a briefcase than a backpack companion, and the weight can add up fast. I spent a few days flipping through the specs, reading forums, and watching how other gamers handle the same size, and the consensus was clear: you need a good reason to carry that extra screen real estate. In the case of the HP Flagship, the reason is the combination of a large anti-glare touchscreen and a Ryzen 5 7430U that promises desktop-class multitasking. The question is whether the trade-offs, chiefly battery life and heat, are worth it for the kind of gaming you intend to do. Let's talk about the display first, because that's where the 17.3-inch factor really shines. The anti-glare touchscreen offers a crisp 19201080 canvas that stays readable even under bright room lights. I tested it with a classic RPG and a fast-paced shooter side by side. In the RPG, the extra screen made inventory management feel almost like a console experience, no more toggling back and forth between menus. In the shooter, the touch layer proved surprisingly useful for quick map pinning and adjusting in-game overlays without reaching for a mouse. The color reproduction isn't sRGB perfect, but it's vivid enough for most titles, and the matte coating keeps reflections at bay during marathon sessions. Performance is where the Ryzen 5 7430U steps into the spotlight. It's a mobile processor, so you shouldn't expect the same raw horsepower as a desktop Ryzen 7, but it does handle modern titles at medium settings with relative ease. I ran a few benchmarks on Elden Ring and Valorant. In Elden Ring, the frame rate hovered around 4550 FPS on medium settings, and the AI-driven Copilot tool helps smooth out texture pop-in by dynamically adjusting LODs. Valorant, being less demanding, routinely pushed 70-80 FPS, which feels perfectly smooth for competitive play. The key takeaway is that this laptop can serve as a solid middle ground. You'll get decent performance without needing to crank the graphics dial to ultra, which in turn keeps the heat more manageable. Heat and fan noise are the other side of the coin. The 17-inch chassis gives HP a little breathing room, but the Ryzen usery still runs hot when the cores are taxed. During my longest play session, about 2 hours of Fortnite in Battle Royale mode, the fan rose to a noticeable whine. It's not a deafening roar, but it's enough to be audible in a quiet room. When you're in a shared space or streaming with a microphone, you'll probably need to adjust mic gain or use a pop filter to keep the fan from bleeding into your audio. The laptop does have an adaptive fan curve that eases up when you move to less intensive tasks, which is a practical feature if you switch between gaming and office work throughout the day. Battery life is a common gripe with larger gaming laptops, and the Flagship's 17-inch size does mean you're carrying a bigger power draw. HP markets the fast charge capability as a selling point, and on paper the 65-watt charger can take you from 0 to 50% in about an hour. In real use, I got roughly 4 hours of mixed usage, some streaming, some coding, and a short gaming stint before needing to plug in. That isn't a full day, but it's roughly what you'd expect from any 17-inch gaming machine. If you're planning to game on the go, you'll want to keep the charger handy, or consider a power bank with enough wattage, which some users find cumbersome. Now, who should actually buy this HP Flagship? If you're a gamer who also needs a workstation for content creation, the 16GB of RAM and 1TB SSD provide ample headroom for video editing, 3D modeling, or running multiple VMs. The touchscreen adds a layer of flexibility for designers who like to sketch directly on the screen, and the HP Copilot AI can help automate repetitive tasks, something that's rarely found on pure gaming laptops. It's also a good fit for students who want a laptop that can handle both coursework and weekend multiplayer sessions without buying two separate machines. On the flip side, if your primary focus is high framerate competitive gaming, you might be better off with a 15-inch machine that features a dedicated GPU, even a modest one like an NVIDIA RTX 3050. The Flagship relies purely on integrated graphics, which caps its ability to push high settings in newer titles. Likewise, pure portable.